Welcome to Odds.com's NBA breakdowns for Wednesday, February 24th. Thank you guys for joining us. We have our NBA expert, Trot Wam, in the house. And Wam, I was out of action for a couple weeks due to the birth of my son and was following you very closely. And not bad. 7 wins, 6 losses, plus 0.34 units. You're sitting 41-40 on the year with an average line of minus 105, so you're down 0.95 units. I'm sitting 46 wins, 47 losses on the year. My average line is minus 109, so I'm actually down 4.70 units. And you know, it's irritating. The word that keeps ringing through my ear is mediocre. And this is the 4th year that we've capped together. We've publicly beaten NBA in these last 3 years. And I know that we're going to do it again, but I'm frustrated right now that we haven't gotten on a hot streak. I think it's ahead of us. Wham, bam. It's great to be back in action with you. How you doing, my man?
Man, it's good to be having you back, bro. That's for sure. Hey, I feel all right, man. Like you said, it's mediocre. You know what I mean? Just one of the things that you're going at was annoying. I had a De'Aaron Fox prop, and I had Sacramento Kings, bro. He's out the lineup. Obviously, I don't want the Sacramento Kings now, but it's in there. So, you know, there it is. But we loved, and we're going to get to this paper because we got to get to it. It's no other way. And we both got little kids. So, you know, we got to get to this paper.
We do. We both have sons that were born just a couple months apart. Very exciting. I can't wait till our families are hanging out together. And we have a very interesting card. So for those of you watching, we have each picked 3 games. And one thing that Wham and I do is we don't talk to each other before the show. And I don't want to know what Wham's on. I really want to clear head. And so does he when we cap these games. He picks 3 games. I pick 3 games. And then we cap each other's games as well. There's only a full market on 4 games. And one of them, the Pistons, Pelicans, we are not using. And I was going to take the Pistons first quarter. But when they come out gangbusters in the first quarter tonight, Tuesday night, and then win, I just cut the game from my action and get very angry that I didn't just take them tonight, which is Tuesday night. So that's been cut. So the 3 games that Wham has are very tricky because there's no market for them. And the 3 games that I have beautiful full markets. So it's going to be interesting to break it down. Let's get right to work, Wham, my man. We start with one of your games, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Houston Rockets, 11-18, 6-11 on the road at the Cleveland Cavaliers, 10-21, 7-9 at home. We're at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse in Cleveland, Ohio, and no market as of yet. As this is one of Wham's games, we're going to hear him predict the market, which is always a really fun thing. So Rockets pace last 5 second in the association. They're running fast. 103.20 possessions a game, withstanding all these injuries. Cavs pace last 5, 13th in the NBA at 100.1 possessions a game. We'll start with the Rockets, banged up squad. They've lost 8 straight, coming off a 120-100 loss at home versus the Bulls on Monday night. David Nwaba stepped up in a big way. He came off the bench to lead the team, 22 points, 9 boards, but then he hurt his wrist. He was holding his wrist at the end of the game. He's listed as questionable. Christian Wood been out of the lineup since February 4th with an ankle injury. As of Sunday, was not close to returning. We do not expect him in the lineup. Victor Oladipo, right foot strain, questionable. Eric Gordon, questionable. And if they aren't in the lineup, we're going to see Daniel House, Jashawn Tate, Sterling Brown, Ben McLemore, G League type players, and that's probably being a little harsh because, you know, especially with Daniel House and Ben McLemore, he's just been a major disappointment in his career.
For sure.
Cavs are on the second half of a back-to-back after snapping their 10-game losing streak tonight. 112-111 win at home over the Hawks. Colin Sexton led the team in scoring 6 straight games, 29 points. Darius Garland goes for 17 points and 8 assists. We can talk about how nice they look offensively, or we can talk about how they combined for 11 turnovers. 6 by Sexton, 5 from Garland. Andre Drummond out of the lineup awaiting a trade. Larry Nance Jr. out of the lineup until April. Kevin Love expected to return to the lineup soon, but they're not rushing him, and why would they? They want a lottery pick. Taurean Prince questionable to play with an ankle injury, which means Jared Allen doing all the heavy lifting. Here we go, Wham Bam. This is your spot. You picked Rockets, Cavs. Take it away.
Yeah, I took this one, and I might be taking this one on the chin here. I like the Houston Rockets though, bro. And the reason why I like the Houston Rockets, I'm going to just go out and say, yes, the Cavs are off a back-to-back. They did come off of a great win today in the expensive Dylan Windler, who went 5 for 5 from 3, 15 points, rookie out of LSU. I think that the Cavs may be needing Drummond more than Houston needs Boogie. And that's something that I believe that is kind of evident. They just threw Justin Patton out there with Houston. He comes out with 3 blocks, already showing that he's a defensive appearance out there, at least showing some defensive presence. Now, they didn't win that last game. After the game, it does seem like the coach kind of called some guys out. They had practices. They had time to prepare. They didn't get it done. But they're going against one of the worst teams in the league in this Cavs. Now, they did win today. I do understand that. But when they play against the West, they're 2-12 against the spread. And their last 10 games against the West, they lost and didn't cover those spreads as well. So I like this this Houston Rockets spot. I do think Oladipo may be in the lineup. I did see that he did have a setback at practice or some sort. But I think these guys might be ready to go, man. You know, these guys, as far as David Nwabu, he did say after the game that it's a long season. They could easily turn it around. You know, they're trying to get in this play-in spot, I'm sure. And it looks like the West play-in spot is going to be crazy already. You see Luka hitting threes. It's going to be tough in Texas. So these guys got to fight off and win for Texas. And I think this is a great spot to do it for Texas here. Houston Rockets, go ahead and knock this down. I think I would say it at 5.5 total, probably at 218 for the Houston Rockets. I'm thinking that we could have this have them win by at least 8 points. I think the Cavs just going to be outmatched. You've seen Darius Garland. He still haven't really shot well this year, man. Darius Garland has kind of been all over the place. Colin Sexton has been dialed in all the way. We could rely on him. Taurean Prince being doubtful. I got him at doubtful, so I don't think Taurean Prince is in the lineup. You're not going to rely on his threes. You're going to be relying on the LSU kid. Do it again. You know what I'm saying? Back-to-back days, and he ain't doing it again. So I'm going to take the Houston Rockets. I think we could get them at 5.5. That makes sense to me. And then also, my apologies, bro. The Rockets in Cleveland, they won straight up 6 out of the last 8 times as well.
That was a very different Rockets squad. But I hear it, and it's an important note. I'm surprised that you think they'll be 5 or 5.5 point favorites. I guess that's with Oladipo and Gordon in the lineup. Oladipo, Gordon in the lineup, 5 point favorites. Because if they're out of the lineup, I'd have to put the Cavs as favorites here.
Really? Like you don't have to do this, bro. You don't have to put them as favorites.
I really think that if it's the Deshaun Tate show, then I know who can take advantage of it, and that's Sexton and Garland. So, a very, very, very interesting spot. So, what is your limit? Like, so if there's, I just don't see, even with them healthy, I don't see, even with Oladipo and Gordon healthy, I don't see how they could possibly be 6 point favorites. I think
so. I would say if we get Victor Oladipo in the lineup and we get, Gordon, PJ Tucker, I think he's probable, so he's going to play, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get all these guys in there. They're healthy. They just come off of a terrible losing streak, going against a terrible team. These guys are veterans and all that stuff. I think the books may be at 5.5, 6 on this line. So I like that to cover, to get to 9, get to 10. I like them to go double digits on here, honestly. But if you're getting at 8, 9 on this, if they're getting all that respect, I wouldn't be backing the Rockets, obviously. That's too many points. But I believe they're going to double digit them, bro.
You can't make a team that's lost 8 straight 8 or 9 point favorites.
I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm telling you this, though. I don't think this is going to happen. But if I would not be on the Rockets if they're getting it at 7.5. That means that the books are taking too much money on the Rockets. They're trying to fight you off of it, and they're trying to push that number way too crazy. So I think if you get 5.5, that's about reasonable. That's about right. Even though they're at home, the Cavaliers, they're at home.
Very, very interesting take from our Wham Bam, a move that we can't make this evening, but we'll make tomorrow. So you have to follow us on Twitter at Trot Wam is our guy's handle. We move on to a spot that I have chosen, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Golden State Warriors, 17-15, 5-9 on the road at Indiana Pacers. 15-14, 7-9 at home. We're at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have the Pacers opening up as 2-point favorites. A couple books are hanging the hook on it at 2.5. This total hasn't moved yet. Actually, I take that back. There's one book that's cut it a half point. There's another book that's added to it, so market not sure. But 228.5 is where you'll find it predominantly across the board. Pacers pace last 5 fourth in the association at 102.37 possessions a game. That's Warriors pace last 5 fourth, 102.37 possessions a game. Pacers pace last 5 19th at 98.88 possessions a game. And the Warriors are on the second half of a back-to-back. They played tonight, beating the Knicks at MSG. There are 3 different teams on our card that are on the second half of a back-to-back. And I was very surprised. And I don't know if it's because we're getting closer to the All-Star break or what, but the amount of minutes these coaches played their star players. I know the Pacers have been extremely underwhelming, but this is a must-bet Pacer spot for me. And I didn't move on it before the show. I wanted to talk it out. I have moved on the Bulls, and I know that comes later in the card, but I have not moved on the Pacers yet, but I will, and I'm going to immediately. Let's talk about the Warriors first. Curry goes for 37 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. Kelly Oubre, 19 points. Wiggins went for 16. Curry was 7 of 14 from 3. The rest of the starters, 3 of 15. Kevon Looney back in action for the first time since February 2nd. Nice to have a veteran presence in there. He scored 2 points in 20 minutes, but 6 boards, 4 assists. And, he's very liked by the squad. Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Kelly Oubre all played 37-plus minutes. They're a healthy group, but Pacers are coming off a very ugly 134-128 overtime win on the road against the lowly Timberwolves. Sabonis, 36 points, 17 boards, 10 assists, playing out of his mind. Malcolm Brogdon, 32 points, 9 boards. That's Sabonis' 25th double-double. Brogdon, 6 of 7 from 3. Second straight overtime game for the Pacers. They'd lost to the Bulls in overtime game before. McBuckets, who our man Wham talks about often. Doug McDermott returned to action after missing the last game with a right knee injury. He had 8 points. And as we know, TJ Warren a long way from returning. Karis LeVert getting up shots, maybe comes back after the All-Star break. Wham, I see this as a Pacers bet. And sure, the Warriors are playing better of late. But how do you not bet the Pacers here? Take it away, Warriors.
Yeah.
Pacers.
Yeah, I understand that, bro. And a lot of that has to do with what Malcolm Brogdon is doing his last 6 games, 41% from the field, 41% from the 3. And if you look at historically, I know, like you said, the last game we just broke down, these are 2 different teams. But in this matchup, the last 18 games, Indiana has kind of owned this matchup. 13 times they covered out of those 18 times. And it kind of alludes to what you're saying. This could be a flat spot for this team that's on the road in the Golden State Warriors. However, getting Wiseman back is different, I believe, and for this Golden State Warriors team. I can't wait to see how they look against Steph or Clay, whatever his name is. In this case, though, bro, I honestly would just go ahead and just take Golden State Warriors, my man. I just believe that Wiseman is a different threat, a live threat, having that type of guy on the pick and roll, having guys that's not going to be shooting the ball like Draymond Green, who did shoot some threes today. You know what I'm saying? Probably the reason why they had that issue. But I'm going to here. I'm thinking that the Golden State Warriors is the spot. But after you broke it down, though, bro, I'm not going to lie. And looking at some of these stats here, I wouldn't be surprised if I see, Miles Turner knocking down shots, Sabonis going crazy. I wouldn't be surprised seeing all these guys having a great game against this Golden State Warriors team. So I did want to take the money line on Golden State Warriors, to be honest with you. As soon as you send me this game to cap, I'm like, let me look at it. Oh, it's available. I don't have no actions yet. You know what I'm saying? This is a good spot to take the Golden State Warriors as an underdog, especially against a team that I don't really believe in, honestly, in the Pacers. Especially like we said, with Doug McDermott coming back, he could be still shooting trash. I mean, he was shooting 30% from 3 in his last 4 games. So I don't think that he's going to come back and have a crazy impact. But Brogdon's been playing great. You know Sabonis is going to continue to ball. So if you get some of these other guys to play well, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and just whoop them. So I understand why they're favored here. So I would probably lay off of it, but I am leaning Golden State. I just don't want to go against Wiseman being added to the lineup. I think he's kind of undervalued what he brings to his team defensively alone. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to leave that at that.
Interesting take. Do you have any feel on this total that's sitting at 228.5?
So the total, I would think under though. And the reason being because both of these teams haven't been shooting collectively well. I mean, you got few guys that shoot lights out like Kelly Oubre. You got Bazemore outside of Curry. Ain't nobody else really making shots. So these guys are just pretty much the key in targets on defense. And you're looking on the other side, these guys haven't been really shooting well other than, Sabonis. I'm not sure if Miles Turner was a part of that club, but I know Sabonis and Brogdon when I looked it up. So I wouldn't probably take the over just because it's kind of a high total from what we've been seeing. Sometimes these guys get locked down and it's kind of back-to-back games. You don't know what they expect, but this is a Curry-led team. So wherever he goes, it's going to go. So if it is a Golden State Warriors spot, they're going to go over this total. So probably so. I probably would just stay off of it, but I'm leaning under though, honestly.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to move on the Pacers -2. I think that's a bargain. I think the recency issue can play perfectly into my hands here. Warriors are playing better basketball, but come on the second half of back-to-back after playing all four key starters over 37 minutes plus. We move on to a Wham Bam game, and I was very excited to see it on your card. I was very excited to see the shirt that you are wearing. 8 p.m. Eastern, Toronto Raptors, 16-15. Actually, that is 16-16. They lost this evening at Miami Heat, 14-17, 7-7 at home. Hard to believe that the two teams combined, Raptors and Heat, would be under 500 this late in the season. AmericanAirlines Arena in Miami, Florida. Raptors pace last 5, 21st in the NBA, 98.40 possessions a game. They moved to small ball. You would think that would speed them up, and it has not. And they're succeeding. Heat pace last 5, the slowest in the NBA. 97.47 possessions a game. Extremely interesting. And we have a Wham Bam game with no market. So we will hear what he is expecting from a market. Now, first off, the very first note I wrote. Now, this is before I really took a hard look at the minutes played against the Sixers. And, in that game, the Raptors were down 37-18 after the first quarter. And I was really thinking, man, if the Raptors mail it in right now, I'm really going to like them tomorrow night at Miami Heat. If the Raptors dig in and fight back and show heart and character, and I know that's something that you want to see, I don't know if I'm going to want them. And my initial feeling was first quarter, and then the deeper I looked at how hard they played late, you know what? I don't think I'm going to move on that. But this is that special spot where the Heat have just come off that 7-game road trip. So first game at home, having to deal with all the bullshit. Let's talk about it. We'll start with the Raptors. Second half of a back-to-back, they lose 109-102 at home to the Sixers tonight. Snapped their 4-game winning streak, outscored 37-18 in the first. As I said, Storm and Norman Powell continuing his excellent play. 24 points, 6 assists, 4 boards. Now, I know in that first matchup against the Sixers, he had that first off game. He's averaging 17 on the year, and he only put up 11 in that game. But he's been excellent since Lowry went down and they moved to the small ball lineup. Lowry sprained thumb. There was a thought that Lowry would play tonight, and he was held back. He's questionable to go this evening. And the small ball tactics have provided dividends for this Rap squad. Siakam, Bembry, Anunoby as a front court. It's been working. You put Baines and Boucher on the bench. We needed to do something, and this is working. But Siakam played 42 minutes. I was very shocked to see Nurse play him that long. Van Fleet playing 37, Powell 35. Okay, but Siakam 42 on the first of a back-to-back, questionable. Heat have won 3 straight. They finished their 7-game road trip with a 108-94 win at Oklahoma City. They went 4-3 on the trip. Duncan Robinson, 6 threes, led the way with 22 points. Jimmy Buckets didn't have to come in the fourth quarter, and what a team player he is. He was cheering the team on. He was saying, "You guys run with it. If you guys can make this happen, man." He wasn't saying, "Give me in, coach." He was saying, "Look, it's working right now." I don't have the numbers in front of me. I believe they outscored 29-17. I believe they outscored the Thunder in that fourth, and he was just cheering all the way. Tyler Hero, right hip contusion, ruled out of Monday's game. He's day-to-day right now. Heat haven't played at home since February 9th. Bam Adebayo leading the team when scoring at 19.6 points, a half point ahead of Jimmy Butler. Dragic questionable to play. He's been out since February 5th with the ankle injury. I love fading a team after winning 3 straight to finish up a road trip and coming home first game. Now, that was when you'd come home and you could go out to the club and you could go out and, you could go out.
Yeah, right.
So that does change things. I'd love to hear your take. This is your game, Wham. Raptors, Heat.
So I'm looking at this as a good spot. I mean, we know they weren't at home the last game the Raptors played today against the Philadelphia 76ers. So they don't really have to go that far to Miami. It's not that far of a trip. In this last 6 games, I believe, for the Raptors, if I'm not mistaken, yes, I'm sorry, the last 5 games, they've been covering the road. 5 of the last 6 games, they've been covering the road games. So this is a good spot that maybe they just don't like Tampa, bro. You know what I mean? They don't want to be over there. They don't like the new house that they got here. I don't like it here. I don't like this spot. No, as of late, like you said, small ball has been working. The last 5 games, they're number 1 in defensive rating, number 2 in opponents' points per game, while being 21st in pace, like you said, the 21st in effective field goal percentage. But both of these guys haven't been really efficient lately. But I seen a lot of grit, like you said today. I seen a lot of grit out of the team that I felt like they were outmatched. There's a bad matchup with the Philadelphia 76ers, having Embiid down there. And like you said, it's a small bar lineup. It's going to be an issue there. And the other guys kind of prevailed around Embiid today. So at this point, though, the fight at the end gave me enough indication that them being the underdog in this spot, I believe they are going to be. Them being the underdog in this spot, I believe around probably +2.5. You probably say +2.5, +3 for the Raptors, something around there. Because this is home cooking they're going to give for the Heat. The Heat do not deserve it, though. We know the Heat is very much underperforming from what we expect them to be starting this season. And to go into that, I believe that this Raptors team is, just far as defensive wise, been pretty good, and they are only waiting for another spark off. And I did see that Lowry, I was about to say Mike Lowry, but Kyle Lowry, he's expected to, he's in the right direction of playing. Like you said, he was supposed to be playing today, but with the fact that they held him back today means that they care a lot about this road warrior mentality. And I think that this is a good time to take them all the way. I'm going money line as soon as it opens. Don't care what it is. As long as it's not minus 160, I'm taking the money line Raptors, and I think we're going to get plus money here, bro. So I think we're going to get plus money here, but I like the money line on the Raptors here. And a lot of that has to do with what you're saying here. They're 30th in pace for this Miami Heat team. But along with that, they're being trash at the 3-point percentage. They're 24th in 3-point percentage at 35%. The Raptors are number 7 in 3-point percentage in his last 5 games. So they haven't been shooting really, really good, but they still have been, keeping up with it. And a lot of that has to do with, like you said, Norman Powell's been pretty much unguardable. You can't put nobody in front of him to stop him. As far as Fred VanVleet, we know he could go off and have a great game. I think that he will have a better game when Kyle Lowry comes back. So Kyle Lowry coming back in this next game, who is expected to play, and that's something I've already seen on Fantasy Labs. That's something they tweeted out already. So he's expected to play. I like the Raptors. Another reason why I think the line is not out yet. I think we're going to see +3s. Hopefully we get like a +120, something around there. That'd be nice. But, anything, if it's not minus 160 under, we good. I'll take that.
Interesting take. I mean, Lowry hasn't been out for that long, but they've had success without him in the lineup. And generally, I don't want to back a team when their star comes back into the lineup. But Lowry's not a guy who's going to come back and want to play 38 minutes or mess with the rhythm. He's a team guy. I think the Raptors, it makes me want to go back to the Raptors early, but I'm going to need time to think about this and maybe watch your breakdown one more time. Wham is on the Raptors money line. We move on. 8 p.m.
Before we do, I'll just go ahead and just knock out this total here as well.
Yeah, please do.
Total going under the last 6 games 5 times for the Raptors. In this meeting, I know these are 2 different teams, like my guy said, but in this meeting, the average total was set at 219.25. That average total combined, so after the game, it was combined of a total of 191.25. 1.25. So I think that this team may be looking on the underside as well. We know this is a tough matchup. And if we seeing something like, low, which I told you, man, like it was supposed to be 216. I thought it was going to be 216. And I think that's kind of what the total is going to be. So the fact that it's exactly where I was going to think it's going to be at, if it's at 216, I don't think we're going to take the under there. But again, these last 4 meetings for these guys, the average total combined for 191. So that's really old school style slug mouth basketball. So if that's the case, be looking for a live total or something like that at this point, because we got a set total if it's something like that. But other than that, I'm not going to take it. But I did want to put that out there just in case we see something in the 220s. I might put an under on that. So
yeah, I think you're right, though. I think you nailed it there with the 216. I think that's a sharp call on your behalf. I'd be very surprised. There's no way it could be 220s with the pace of the Raptors is in the small ball lineup. So I think you're very close to nailing it. So, but you're not going to move on the total?
Not if it's 216, just because it's exactly where I'm at. I possibly could get a better look on live betting, just because if it's right there, just slow down. It might creep up. Who knows,
Yeah, absolutely. All right. That is our breakdown for Raptors Heat. We move on to one of my games, 8 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota Timberwolves, 7-24, 3-13 on the road to Chicago Bulls, 14-16, 6-9 at home, United Center in Chicago, Illinois. And I had to pause myself. Now, I look at this and I think, the Bulls -4.5, which is what it opened at. But it just felt like a spot where the markets, the books are asking you to bet the Bulls. And we know how that works out. It works out very poorly.
Terrible.
And I couldn't help myself. Like I couldn't stop my finger from clicking the button. Within 30 minutes, it's a -4. And I'm like, oh, God, it really upset me. It's back to 4.5. But this line is confounding. A lot of 4.5s, mostly 4.5s right now. There's a couple 4s. This total's at 227.5. One book has dropped a point on it, but Wolves pace last 5, second slowest in the association, 29th at 97.57 possessions a game. Bulls pace last 5, 12th at 100.21 possessions a game. For the life of me, I don't understand how the Timberwolves could only be 4.5-point dogs. And I don't mean to just repeat myself, but in the NBA, when something's too good to be true, it is too good to be true, and you're going to get cut.
Yeah.
Minnesota in the second half of back-to-back, they lost 139-112 last night in Milwaukee. Now, when I made the bet, it was late in the first quarter before the Bucks had pulled away. And I was like, ooh, shit. I was like, oh, man. Are the Timberwolves going to give them a game here? Is it going to be tight? Because I wanted it to be tight.
Right.
Now, that's not what happened. They lose. The T-Wolves lose 139-112. Cat goes for 26 points, 11 assists, and 8 boards. Malik Beasley goes for 26. It was their 5th straight loss, 9th in 10 games. And it was their first game for Chris Finch, who was an assistant coach for us, for the Raptors, before Ryan Saunders got fired. Ryan Saunders was really dealt a tough hand. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been fired, but you got to look at the roster and the continued changing faces, and how is a coach supposed to make that work?
Yeah, Jimmy Butler when that situation was going on, right? Yeah, he had a tough situation from jump.
Yeah, and you understand why Ryan gets the job. I mean, Flip is everything to that franchise. Yeah. D'Angelo Russell, as you guys know, out of the lineup until late March or early April. So it was Finch's first game. And I know a lot of cappers like to back a team with the first game with their new coach. It wouldn't have worked. Is it going to work here? The Bulls are playing good ball. 2 straight. They've won 4 or 5 as well. Coming off that 120-100 win on the road versus a very short-handed Rocket squad. It was the first time in 10 games that Zach LaVine didn't lead the Bulls in scoring. Kobe White went for 24 points and 10 boards. Only picked up 2 assists. LaVine scored 21. He didn't have to do more than that. They've handled the loss of Lauri Markkanen and Otto Porter very well. I mean, I noticed it wasn't on your card, Wham. How do you not take the Bulls here? It's going to be a very public play. We know how those work out. I'm getting more and more nervous the more I talk about it, but I already bet it. Timberwolves, Bulls, take it away.
I mean, let's look at it. You took the better defensive team as of late, so that's always good news, and possibly the better offensive team as well. I mean, the last 5 games. I mean, I didn't count in today's game because I didn't think that today's game was going to matter about the identity of the Timberwolves. So, as far as the last 5 games for the Timberwolves, they have been ranked 26 in points per game, so they haven't been scoring. And on the opposite side, this defense for the Chicago Bulls, they're ranked number 4th in opponents' 3-point percentage at 29.8. And then they're also ranked 7th in opponents' points per game at 108. So they've been holding opponents to a tough cookie as far as when you go out there and play them. And now they're at the house. They're going against a team that, as far as like talent-wise, is kind of not really that much talent. You do got Malik Beasley, who's playing lights out, having a career year. Does look like he deserves all that money he got. As far as Cat, it does look like he's bouncing back, getting back to his form. I like the jumpers that he's shooting in front of Giannis today. It was really nice to look at. But other than that, man, I think they're going to possibly run into a team that's going to play a little bit more defense, a little bit more effort. I like Kobe White, what he does in certain spots. He is a little bit not efficient as like the best efficient point guard that you could have, but he still brings that energy. He does have some sort of leadership qualities. You can see it out there when he plays on the floor. He tells guys what to do. Or I believe I seen him in the last game. It was towards the end of the game. They already had it wrapped up, but he fouls because they had a foul to give. And it's because he was in a mismatch that he was about to get scored on. He was about to be giving up some points. So he's fouled out. So he does show some sort of, awareness out there. So I do like that pick just based off of that. And along as what we're talking about with the Minnesota squad, they kind of missing out with D'Lo. They need that extra spark, somebody that they know that could get them a bucket. They need that, if Malik Beasley is getting, pretty much assaulted by the Knicks, which he did get assaulted by the Knicks the game before, he got a little leeway this last game because, this team in the Bucks, I'm looking at the TV right now because I was watching TV here. This team with the Bucks, they're not really that good. So I will go ahead and just say you did the right thing with taking the Bulls. It makes sense because as far as what you're going to expect, I do expect effort, and I do expect that this team ran by Billy Donovan to come out with effort and have a good game plan against this Minnesota team. So you just really got to worry about 2 guys. And I think that's going to work out for you, bro. So the 4.5, that makes sense as well. I kind of would lean in depth with it, but that does seem like something I may make an addition later on down the line, bro.
FanDuel has put juice on the 4.5 to -114. I like seeing that.
See that, yeah.
Legitimately, God, generally. I've taken a couple weeks off where because I had the duties of when you have a newborn, I was like, what, just only focus on NHL. Just focus on NHL. I still obviously follow basketball very closely, but I wasn't fully capping the games. And if I believe if I was capping every single day hard like we usually are, I would know to be scared of this. It just feels like some guys leaning over a fence offering you drugs, just 4.5 against this Timberwolves team that just played last night. Bulls are playing good ball.
FanDuel is showing love, man. FanDuel is showing love. That's why I got love for FanDuel. Shout out to y'all, man.
Okay, we move on. I am on the Bulls -4.5 or -110. We move on to a Wham Bam game. Another spot where I'm very interested to see where he thinks this line will end up. 9 p.m. Eastern, Charlotte Hornets 14-16, 5-8 on the road at the Phoenix Suns, 20-10, 11-5 at home. Phoenix Arena in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have no market. Hornets pace last 5, 7th in the NBA, 101.20 possessions a game. Suns pace last 5, 28th. And they've been playing slow since Chris Paul went over there. It is slow and in control, 97.60 possessions a game. Hornets are coming off a 132-110 loss at Utah on Monday night. Lonzo went for 21.7 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals. The big thing is they lose by 22 points, and Lonzo was just a -3 when he was on the floor. Scary Terry Rozier, -26. Devontae Graham day-to-day with a knee injury. With him out, that opens up minutes for Malik Monk, who put up 20 points in 24 minutes. There's one too many guards. And that will be figured out. Gordon Hayward, right hand bruise, questionable. And it was scary. Same hand that he had the avulsion fracture in mid-December, and because it's the same hand, I could easily see him not seeing the floor. I could easily see him out of the lineup, and I'm sure that's why the market hasn't come out yet. Suns are rolling. They won 3 straight, 9-10. They're coming up their 3rd straight blowout win, 132-100 at home over Portland, playing excellent ball. They only turned the ball over 7 times. I mean, that's a Chris Paul squad. Turn the ball over 7 times, shoot 50.5% from the field, 48.5% from 3. Booker, 34 points, 12 of 17 shooting. They are healthy. They're happy. They're winning basketball games. And you have chosen this game, Wham. Hornets, Suns, take it away.
I love this spot. I love this game, man. I love this game. You're getting a team that's really healthy in the Phoenix Suns. You're getting a team that's getting really bad as far as like health-wise in the Charlotte Hornets. And you're getting them at a good time as well. You're getting them as far as the Phoenix, you're getting them at the house. I believe when you get the Phoenix Suns, and it's already shown to prove, they're 20-10 for the season, and they're 20-10 ATS. When they win, they're going to cover. They got this line pretty high, I believe. I think they're going to have this line pretty high, and I'm going to go ahead and just ride with it right on the opener. I think these guys are going to win by double digits, the Phoenix Suns. Not having Hayward in the lineup, why rush them out there? They said after the practice today, I mean, not the practice today, I'm sorry, but they kind of came out on the Charlotte, I believe it's the report or Charlotte, some beat writers that I read on. Devontae Graham looks like he's a little bit worse than they thought as far as the knee, and it wasn't as bad for Gordon Hayward. So they got a lot of relief as far as Gordon Hayward, but why rush him now? With all that, you just want to just hold your breath. You may just want to slow down because Gordon Hayward was having a career season at this point as far as his resurgence after leaving the Jazz. He hasn't looked this good in a long time. Why rush him out there against a team that's just hitting on all centers? Number 1 in the last 5 games, number 1 in 3-point percentage, number 1 in points per game, and they're also number 4 in opponents' points per game, number 5 in opponents' 3-point percentage. As far as this Phoenix Suns team, they're playing great defense. They're getting very much respect out there on the court, but they're not getting respect on the streets. You got Devin Booker not making an all-star. You got Chris Paul making it. That's right. That's good. But I think even Chris Paul give up his seat at this point because it's just disrespectful that you don't get this man this spot. So I think that it's going to be payback to pay, and it's going to get done on little LaMelo. LaMelo will have a terrible game here. I wouldn't be backing him. I wouldn't be backing Charlotte Hornets as well. Now, this is a long spread. Charlotte is a still good ATS team. I do not want to just go ahead and just look over that. But, again, this is a top-tier Phoenix team that does feel like they still have a chip on their shoulder. And not that many people are talking about them. They're talking all about Utah. I think this Phoenix team is going to go on another run, going on a good run. And like I said before, I mean, they're 20-10 ATS. Every time they cover, they're going to win the game. I mean, every time they win the game, they're going to cover. So just go ahead and knock down the Phoenix. I'll take them to win by at least 11, bro. I got them at least by 11.
And as soon as you say LaMelo, I look at my notes and see I wrote Lonzo. What am I doing? My fault. LaMelo. Yeah, I get it. I completely get it. The reason why I wouldn't take a Booker prop is because I fear he sits in the 4th if the Suns are way up. But the Suns, I could also see come out lethargic and lackadaisical because we saw they can turn on like a switch in that Pelicans game. So I found this game very interesting. The Suns are going to be big favorites. Suns are playing such good ball. And we have Wham wanting to take it on the opening line. I'll be up early, Wham, but if for any reason, because the public's going to hammer them.
Right.
You can feel free to tweet it out yourself as well if you want to lock it in as soon as possible. But
yeah, I'm refreshing FanDuel now just to make sure, bro.
Yeah, there's no way. I wouldn't put it out right now because I think that you nailed it with even though Hayward, it's much, much better than they thought. They were just so scared because it was the same hand from the fracture. Right. I'd be surprised if he plays. But remember, the Hornets are 14-16. They're still in this.
They're tough. And I believe they just played the Utah Jazz, if I'm not mistaken, early on, they were winning that game. They
Yeah.
looked real good. It looked like they could have won that game, honestly.
Well, we know what happened, and we're about to talk about it in the Lakers game. So why don't we save it for that? Because it was a barrage from the perimeter from the Utah Jazz and from their bench as well. Okay, we have Wham going to move on the Suns. And apologize for saying Lonzo instead of LaMelo. All right,
You told me
Wham.
you're just talking about the better ball brother, man.
Yeah.
Lonzo is the better
Well,
ball brother.
for
I'm saying
now.
that. Oh, for now. Yeah,
For
right.
now.
For sure.
Wham
For sure.
is going to move on the Suns. Because when LaMelo gets a man's body, he's going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That is the Hornets Suns. We move on to the only game I want to talk about. We could do a full show on our next game. And we have our man Wham coming to us from LA. Wasn't on his card, but it's on mine. And I'm going to hammer it. And God, it's another tricky thing I have with totals in the Lakers game. It's already moving up. But okay,
Yeah.
I'll wait. It's already moving up. But the last time I had this with the Lakers game, it was like 218 and a half. And then it went up to 219 and a half. And then it went to 220. I was like, ooh, shit. So I was going to take the under, but I was like, look, there's a 220 and a half. I was like, go to sleep, wake up, it'll be 221. I woke up and it was 217. I didn't take the under. I believe it was against Celtics, but it cost me badly. And I think this is going to happen again because I want the under here. All right. Big game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Lakers, Jazz, full market to talk about. Jazz open up at 7.5-point favorites. That quickly moves to 8 and then 8.5. It was 8 about 2 hours ago. It has added a hook on the books I use. Lakers 22-10, 13-3 on the road. Jazz 25-6, 14-2 at home, and that's a 14-game winning streak at home. Vivid Smart Home Arena, Salt Lake City, Utah. Lakers pace last 5, 23rd in the NBA, 98.25 possessions a game. Jazz pace last 5, third in the NBA, 102.60 possessions a game. Let's talk about Lakers first, and I want them. Let me put that out right now. I love that they've lost 3 straight, and this is what LeBron wants. This game has LeBron written all over it. Now, look, the Jazz are playing great basketball. The Lakers could let go in the fourth, or LeBron could take it upon himself and play spectacularly well. Lakers have lost 3 straight. All 3 losses have come without AD and Dennis Schroeder in the lineup. Davis misses 4 straight game. He's out at least 3 more weeks with the calf injury. Schroeder will miss at least 1 more game with the health and safety protocols with COVID. They're coming off a 127-124 overtime loss to the Wizards. Had to be a look-ahead spot. Wizards rallied from a 17-point second-half deficit. LeBron, 31 points, 13 assists, 9 boards. He's third in the NBA in total minutes with over 200 more than anyone else on the Lakers. And as you guys know, I have Luka for MVP.
Right.
And then I have taken LeBron. I got him at plus 175 about a week and a half ago. I just couldn't help myself. Now I know a lot of people think Embiid is being the best player in the NBA so far, but it's numbers like that. Third in the NBA in total minutes, 200 more than anyone else on his team. Embiid's only missed, I believe, 6 games so far this year. I think the team's played 31. He's played 25. But if LeBron plays 80, or how many games is it in the season here? 72?
72.
If he plays 72 games,
yeah, they're gonna lock it in. Yeah,
he's gonna win the MVP even if Embiid. Now, and also I think another part of that, if the Sixers end up winning the East and ahead of the Nets, maybe he'll have something to say about it. But I got plus 175. It's now plus 137, by the way. So these are the kind of situations that LeBron lives for. They've lost 3 straight. They've lost 4 or 5. AD and Schroeder are out. LeBron's day-to-day with an ankle injury, of course, probable. He hasn't missed a game all year. They're playing the team with the best record in the NBA on the road. We know this story.
Yep.
LeBron's going to have a monster game. So I want three things. I want the Lakers plus 8.5, but I'm very curious to hear from you, Wham, if you think it could go up. I want the under in this game because I think, and we'll get into more of the Jazz side of things, we won't see the kind of performance we just saw against the Hornets. And I want LeBron James points, rebounds, assists over. Now, I got to see what the number is, and I've got to study it, but I want it. Quickly about the Jazz before we get to Wham here. Jazz have won 10 of 11, 14 straight at home, coming off that 132-110 win at home on Monday. They set a franchise record with 28 threes. 19 of them came from the bench, NBA record. Donovan Mitchell, 23 and 8 assists. Joe Ingles, Jordan Nang led the way. Nang was 7 for 7 from three. Both players finished with 21 points. Clarkson added 20. Utah's the fastest team in NBA history to make 503 pointers. 31 games. This is a healthy squad playing great basketball. I know they're going to step up for the Lakers. I know that. But I just don't see how they could shoot the lights. This is a spot where you want to expect them to revert back to the mean from a shooting standpoint, which makes me want to take the under. I know the Lakers are going to slow the game down. I know the ball's going to be in LeBron's hand a lot. So, Wham, I could talk about this game for hours, but you know this team inside and out. Lakers, Jazz, take it away.
Yeah, man, I love the Lakers. I'm a Laker fan, live and die. I'm live and die with the Lakers, just like the Utah Jazz are live and die with the three. Man, come on now. They were looking like they could have came. We said it last game a little bit, but it looked like they could have lost to the Hornets last game, and they come back and just have a barrage of threes, looking amazing. That's great. They did the same thing similar to the Indiana Pacers. I believe they missed out on the first half, lost the first half, came back and beat up on the Indiana Pacers. They almost did that to the Sixers as well. Now, do we think that the Lakers are better than a few of these teams? I would say so, but without Schroeder in the lineup, without AD, you got to get the washed-up King Lakers. So, like you said, this is a perfect spot for LeBron to just come out here. He got Royce O'Neal on the plate, looking at him as in food, probably just going over there doing as much as he liked to that young kid. And then at the end of the day, you got, baby crybaby Gobert, who would fake like he's on the ground the last game, fake like he was on the ground, and he hops up because the call was against him. He thought he got a foul. He thought he got an offensive foul right there or something. Like, bro, chill out. So I think that you're on the right path here with the Lakers, but at the same time, this is a crazy team to go up against, bro. Utah Jazz is scary. I went up against them a couple times here with the 76ers because I thought that we were going to get a little bit more three-point effort from the Sixers. I'm hoping that we could get that for the Lakers, though. I do agree with you. This is a big spread, man. Come on now. The Lakers don't getting this type of number. You're not going to get it at all. On the road as well, these are road warriors. Last 5 games, they covered 4 of those road games. Even though they haven't been winning lately, those games been at home, and they've been, California living out here. LeBron fine wine, you know what I'm saying, on the ride home in his Maybach. It's cool and all, but I believe that this is a good spot for the Lakers, man. I believe you're on the spot there, but it's kind of tough because the Lakers been shooting so terrible from the last 3 games, and this team on the other side, they're gonna coming out there lights out. But I would say the last 3 games will say 41%, but that has a lot to do with what they did last game. Like you said, bro, they might not be doing that again. They 3-point percentage was kind of mediocre for them to shoot all those attempts. That's what's getting them over the hedge on a lot of these teams. They're number 1 in attempts. So I think that's the edge here is if you're thinking that the Lakers are going to clamp up on defense, which they are capable of, are they going to be able to stop the paint from getting out there? They gave up 66 points in the paint last game against the Wizards, which was terrible because that's all they had. They didn't have any 3. They didn't have Davis Bertans making shots. He was barely making them out there. So they gave it up there. I believe that the Lakers didn't care about that game. They care about this game, especially before they get Schroeder back. They want to start off this good trip on a good spot, especially him coming back, I believe, on Friday. So he's not going to be back for this one. But I understand and I agree that the Lakers probably will make my card. And honestly, I didn't want to put that out there because I might be coming biased here. So I didn't want to give my full breakdown on why I think that these guys are going to stop Donovan Mitchell, because I believe that we're going to stop Donovan Mitchell. But I'm going to leave that to, my Caruso Stan account, burner account that I'm going to wait out on Twitter. I'm going to just do that out. I'm going to leave it alone.
I love it. What's your expectation of the market here? 8.5. So give me a guess of where does the spread end? And do you think this total goes up? Because the leading indicator book, our main leading indicator offshore book has moved it to 221. So what's your expectation of the market move?
So I think I seen FanDuel at 220.5. I think the total will get bet under, man. I mean, the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking at the stat, the last 19 games on the road, 16 of those games went under. And against on the road as well, like as far as this team is in the Lakers and the Utah Jazz at home, they try to kind of, play possession ball. And you want to get this team in the Rockets, I mean, as far as the Utah Jazz, you want to get them in one and done scenario. So in that, you want to slow the ball, take your time, get into the sets you like, try to get open. I think there's going to be a lot of isolation ball in this game. And if that's the case, you're going to see Donovan Mitchell pressing. I believe you're going to see Donovan Mitchell pressing, and that possibly could help out this over. So I don't want to say the under is a play, but I would agree with you though, because the Lakers haven't been shooting well, and if the Lakers have a shot here, they got to stop these guys from making these shots. So that's the only way that you like the Lakers. It's got to be the under, bro. Got to be.
Well, at this point, I'm going to wait because it's 220 where I shop, and but this bit me badly the last time I did this. But I
would say this though. Since you think it's the same situation and it's the same number, from what it sounds like. It sounds like it's like the same number. Maybe this is probably you want to take it then, bro.
Well, it's 10-1, and I'm not going to move on it for at least an hour and a half, or as long as I possibly can, to see if I can get that hook added on. I don't see why I wouldn't, because FanDuel has that 220.5, and it's juiced to the over.
Right.
It's minus 115 to the over. The other books have to follow suit, so I'm at least giving an hour and a half. Well, that concludes our action, and wham, we are going to leave this show without you making a move.
It sucks. It sucks here. I would definitely say the move that I'm definitely going to make as soon as possible, probably right after the show. So it's going to be tweeted out. You can just check the Twitter there. It's probably going to be that Raptors, bro. I got the shirt on. Raptors money line seems like the play. If I'm not mistaken, I refresh FanDuel. I still see it at plus money. I'm going to take that. One.
Ooh, you're right. It's up.
I think we got all my games as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, you're right. They're all up.
So if that's the case, we got
Houston 2-point favorites
minus 9.5. I got to get that one, bro.
The Rockets are 2-point favorites. Well, let's get you locked in. So first off, do you want the Rockets minus 2?
So I would take the Rockets. Let me see yes, of course. Yes, I want the Rockets minus 2. I was thinking that they were going to be underdog. I'm thinking of the other game here.
Rockets minus 2 at minus 110. So you're not. So that tells me those guys are going to be available. At least one of them.
Right.
Okay. Rockets minus 2 is locked in, and then I'm going to move on the Pacers. Did you want Warriors plus 102?
Man, that's tough, dude. You kind of talked me off the Warriors just because this could be a Sabonis spot. You know what I mean? But I honestly believe Wiseman changes the element of this team here, and having guys that's been starting like Toscano, the young Mexican and black kid from Oakland. Shout out to him, playing for his own town. I love that story. I don't want to go into at the end of the recap, but yeah, I'm gonna lead that one off. Okay. But it possibly will find my additions though. Bro.
Raptors money line plus 108.
Yeah, Raptors for sure. We're gonna take that. That's it. And Phoenix Suns as well. Minus
9.5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you're in business.
Yeah, there we go.
That's cool. Okay, that's a fun way to end the show. Okay, and Suns minus 9.5, minus 110. All right, beautiful. And then I'm on. So those are the 3 spots for Wham. There will be additions tomorrow. I'm on the Lakers plus 8.5, the under 220. I'm going to be on. Well, I'm going to wait on that under. I'm going to be on LeBron James props, points, rebounds, and assists.
I'm probably riding with you too, bro. That's probably the first thing we talk about in the morning.
Cool. And then for what I'm already on. As I said, I'm already on the Bulls and the Pacers. Wham, great work, my man. Enjoy tomorrow, Wednesday, February 24th, of your action, and let's heat up, man. It's just been just as we said, mediocre this year, and but that's a fine spot to be in. I mean, it's better than struggling. So
That's facts.
let's
Yeah,
get
you know
hot.
what though? I feel like we got to make the right. I've been making the wrong games to select. I think like early on I was making the wrong game, so I feel like now we just got to get right. We got to get right. You're right, bro. And the babies are really good luck, I've heard.
Yeah, I think you have to provide now. We have to succeed now. Wham, great stuff. Any last words before we put a bow on this?
Nah, brother. I'm happy to have you back, man.
Thank you.
We gonna definitely keep on strong, and keep the work going on, man. Just appreciate you guys for tuning in, taking in all that time, and love.
And let's get paid. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Thank you for watching odds.com, and let's get paid in full.